It's the end of the day in Beijing and time to relax. These European managers of small companies came to China for an immersion course in Chinese business culture and communication style. They're taking part in a program set up by the EU and China for small and medium-sized businesses, the Managers Exchange and Training Program, or METP.
I'm here because our company in Denmark is keen to do business in China. And I believe just coming here on a short trip, which is what a lot of companies do, isn't the right way to do it. You really need to learn the cultural basics to be able to do good long-term business here, and that's why I chose a long-term program. It's a big investment of time, but I think it's worth it.
I'm not hungry, but we can order.
Participants spend 10 months in China, mostly in Beijing. Spaniard Pablo Fernandez came here because of the recession which has hit his home country hard. China's an opportunity, he says. What surprised him was everyday life in the People's Republic.
Life's very easy here. Everything's designed to be close by and make things easy. Language is obviously an important obstacle. The course is well organized, and with a little bit of help from the people, from the program or from the university, it's very easy to live here.
They're halfway through their stay and communication seems already to be working quite well. Pablo's surprised by his host's open-mindedness and hospitality. But there are things he likes less.
They spit in the streets, and the smell here is very strong sometimes. You can find things like rubbish dumps in the middle of the street. You pass by and the smell is unbearable. But these are just habits you have to get used to. For them it's normal. And if you come here, you have to come with an open mind, ready to adapt.
The main element of the METP is, of course, language lessons. Participants, sometimes beginners, sometimes those with some knowledge, get 7 months of business Chinese lessons at a university in Beijing. They started with 2 weeks of intercultural training because European and Chinese business cultures are quite different. Almut Rösner, a management consultant from Germany, remembers some early teething problems.
It became obvious that intercultural communication and making arrangements with others is very difficult when time is tight. That's when language barriers are a problem, when you don't have enough time to explain to the other person exactly what you mean, and the other person interprets things differently.
Besides language and communication training, seminars about trade, intellectual property protection and marketing are also part of the program, as well as excursions to different regions and industrial sectors of China. First impressions after nearly half a year in another world?
Europeans are more individualistic. The Chinese pay more attention to teamwork. And there are big differences between the different parts of China. China's not just China. There are lots of Chinas inside China. And doing business could be very different from one place to another. You have to know the locals and be aware that knowing people in Beijing is not a big help when you're doing business in Kunming. And I had no idea about that.
The Chinese are very flexible. This could perhaps make it more difficult if you're always looking for certain standards and rules. But on the other hand, this flexibility also opens possibilities to change things in the short term.
In Europe, especially in the north, a contract is a contract. Here, personal contact carries much more weight than a contract. Here, a contract has little value. Here, if a client ever feels unfairly treated, he just tears it up, and there are no consequences. In Europe, that could never happen.
After the theory, they spend 3 months in a Chinese company, ideally with their own project. It's a mutual exchange. Chinese small business managers also get intercultural training in companies in Europe. Personal contact and trust count particularly for the Chinese counterpart. That's also the feedback of a Chinese participant.
Foreigners are always very direct, and they want to do business very fast. If they invest in China, they want to get money very fast. But for Chinese people, they do business, the first step is build up trust. If they don't trust these people, they don't do business with you.
Recruitment consultant Zhou Jinrong, or Emma Zhou for her European partners, spent several months in a Dutch company. It was a chance for her and her company to establish an international network that could run smoothly.
Maybe for Chinese people, the first or second or third meeting, just general talking. But for foreigner, maybe every meeting they fully prepared. They want to get the very detailed result from every meeting. So that's the difference. So when I visit our business partner, I did a preparation for every meeting.
The programme aims to help bilateral business grow. In the long run, the European target is even to promote reform in the People's Republic, to improve safety and environmental standards. Is that a little too ambitious?
If
you give Chinese entrepreneurs the possibility to go abroad, to speak with Europeans, to experience directly the European way of doing business, to feel it, then this should, or let's say this could, have an impact on their behavior in their own country. But yes, this is a very ambitious goal.
Aber Sie haben natürlich recht, das ist ein sehr ambitioniertes Ziel.
Ambition and a desire to get the best results. That's also what Almut Rössner noticed from the Chinese during her stay.
Once the Chinese have real international work experience and speak very good English, of course you wonder, how will it be in Europe? How will it affect Europeans in the labour market? But there are certain things like prioritising, organising, developing your own ideas that are not really promoted in schools and universities here. And that, I think, is where the strengths of Europeans lie.
The European participants say 10 months is not enough to become able to negotiate with the Chinese in their own language, but that it does provide a basis for bringing the global business community closer together.